Hi, my name is Dr. John Douillard. I want to talk to you today about living your life in harmony with the natural cycles. In Ayurveda, this is a big deal. Living your life in harmony with the cycles, going downstream with the current, means you finish your day with the same energy as you started. You wake up refreshed, you're hungry at the right time, you're not craving constantly, you exercise at the right time, you're sleepy at the right time. This is all about living in harmony with the cycles. Every traditional culture had a lifestyle that was connected to the rhythms of nature. In Ayurveda, the first cycle starts at 6 a.m. Generally speaking, we're going to call that sunrise. So for the next 4 hours after the sun rises, and that's going to be, of course, much later in the winter and earlier in the summer, but 4 hours after that, you're going to generally see the muscles become stronger. When I did a lot of work at the Soviet Union, all of their big heavy lifting workouts were done in the morning. A significant number of people exercise on a regular basis, do it first thing in the morning. The muscles are stronger to plow fields and dig ditches first thing in the morning when the muscles and the body can handle it before it gets too hot. So the morning is a time for your physical activity. And it's very important because if you sleep in after the sun rises doing a very heavy kind of activity, then the longer you sleep in, the heavier you get, the more stiff you get. In our culture, we very generally, commonly sleep in after the sunrise and generally get more stiff and more rigid as we age. Now this next cycle between 10 o'clock-ish and 2 o'clock, the next 4 hours, generally is when the digestive system is most strong. Every traditional culture stops, even to this day, and has their big meal in the middle of the day. This is when the digestive fire is the most strong. So it's very important that we stop and relax and dine and make that meal count. That's definitely a meal you do not want to miss. And the reason why is because the next cycle is what we call the Vata cycle between 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And that is when the nervous system becomes active. We really need to think. Now the brain is the big gas guzzler, burns 80% or so of your blood sugar. So if you didn't put enough fuel in your tank during the pitta time of the day between 10 o'clock and 2, when the body can digest its food, and you waltz into the afternoon with no gas in your tank, then your blood sugar is going to crash and you're going to crave dark chocolate, sweets, candy, Coke, a nap, and you're going to be looking for some type of energy from somewhere else. So the idea is to put the gas in the tank in the middle of the day so the brain has the fuel to have an even keel through the afternoon. And if you're crashing in the afternoon, then that's a stress. And that stress, if it's consistent day in and day out, constantly crashing every day, that will trigger an emergency response, a stress hormone response, which is a degenerative hormone. And however you are genetically predisposed to break down, that kind of daily stress will take you out. One of the reasons why so many cultures stop and revolve their entire day around a big meal. Of course, in our culture here, 100 years ago, 50 years ago, in the agriculture communities, even today, people still stop and have their big meal in the middle of the day. We've lost that trend, that concept, and we really need to bring it back. The second set of cycles starts at 6 p.m. Now, at 6 p.m., the sun begins to set. The cortisol levels start to kind of drop down, getting us ready for going to sleep. But if you've been stressing and pushing all day long, the cortisol levels stay up, and it becomes difficult for us to want to go to sleep. So in the evening, the cooks go home around 6 o'clock. There's not a lot of digestive strength in the evening. Another reason why the big meal should be in the middle of the day. And then in the evening at 6 o'clock, work should be wrapping up, and you should be thinking about settling down and getting ready for sleep. This is a nice time to go for an evening walk or some light exercise because it is what we call a kapha time of day. It's the second kapha time of day. Every cycle always starts with kapha. The morning cycle, kapha, which is strong structural strength to support the endurance of workout and physical labor. And the second cycle at 6 p.m. gives you the same type of structural strength, so it's the second best time to exercise. Don't do it too late because it can overstimulate you and not let you settle down to go to sleep. And then, so that's the time you want to be thinking about bed. Early supper, and then 7, 8 o'clock, and around 10 o'clock at night, the pitta, the fire, comes in again between 10 o'clock and 2. And this is when the liver becomes very active to detoxify the body and prepare you for the next day. Now, if you are eating at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, the janitor comes in, wants to wash floors and clean windows, and you're eating your dinner and still digesting. The body goes, hey, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you were still having your dinner. I will come back tomorrow and detoxify you and clean your liver and then prepare you for the next day. So if you're having late meals on a regular basis, the ability for your body to properly detoxify is compromised. And we keep accumulating toxicity. The liver just simply can't do its job efficiently because the liver is so much a part of digestion. So the idea is an early evening, settle down, get ready for bed. By 10 o'clock you're in bed, 10 o'clock to 2 you're detoxifying really well, and then between 2 and 6 you're in deep sleep, but somewhere in the early morning hours before sunrise you naturally wake up. And this is when you wake up before the sunrise, and it's a natural occurrence. It's not something you need with an alarm clock. Your body's natural alarm clock is to wake up with the rhythms of nature. Now in the wintertime, the daytimes are going to become much shorter and condensed, and the evening times are going to become much longer. So in the winter we get way more sleep, repair, rebuild, rejuvenate in the winter, and in the summertime we have way more daytime energy, and therefore those times from the daytime expand. So we have to kind of plug that into the equation. So you might go to bed a couple of hours after the sun set. In the summertime is going to be much later than going to bed a couple of hours after the sun set in the winter. And that's sort of a general rule, 2 to 3 hours after the sun sets, go to bed. Kind of helps you plug in the fact that the times of day are changing. So one last question. If you were to go to bed at say 12 o'clock and woke up tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock in the morning, how would you feel? Probably heavy, tired, stiff, like you slept too much. You went to bed at 8 o'clock and you woke up the next morning at 6 o'clock. How would you feel in comparison? Probably a lot better. Well, they were both 10 hours of sleep. One was just connected to the rhythms of nature. So please read the article associated with this video. Begin to understand the power of living your life in harmony with these natural cycles, and begin to finish your day with the same energy as you started. Go to sleep early so you can wake up refreshed and ready for the day, and really naturally regulate the amount of cortisol, stress-fighting hormone, you produce during your day. We know stress is the cause of 80% of disease. And the stress that when we incur, when we push against the grain, it causes insomnia and degenerative disease. So please take responsibility for your health, begin to understand the natural cycles, and just test and see how you feel when you live your life in sequence and in harmony with those natural cycles. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. Douillard.